Good morning. Welcome to the Wake.Show. Sorry for the late start this morning. Some technical stuff coming in, but let's get right to it. You're not having a good day. You know it's not going to be a good day when you're in the drive-through line at McDonald's for the second time in a week. And as soon as you get to the window to pay, the words that come out of your mouth are "oh shit," and the woman says back to you, "oh shit." And you go, oh, shit, I don't know where my card is. I don't have a credit card. I only have a debit card, but it's not my wallet this morning. I had a park and rec last night, and no, it was not one of those nights. As a matter of fact, I looked, and I paid my tab at the end of the night and everything, and it was $37. So I paid, but I don't know if I went to go put it back in my wallet and I missed the little slot or whatever happened. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I should probably cancel that thing this morning before someone tries to use it. But anyway,
I misplace my stuff all the time. So my first assumption is never that I've lost it. It's that I've misplaced it. It's in a pair of pants, or it fell in my car, or something like that before I ever start to panic about, oh crap, I actually lost it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it because the chip has started to wear out on me, and a few times it's jammed me up. Stupid chips. It's giving me errors here and there. You have to, play with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just cancel it and order another one. But the thing is that was going to be my breakfast this morning. Oh. So I'm in line to go, I don't. And there's another thing. So I don't have my card. I don't have any cash. Well, I have $3 in cash. And I go, so I guess I'll just sit here because you're stuck now. You're stuck. There's nowhere to go. And she goes, well, do you still want that coffee? And I was like, sure. And she goes, oh, that'll be $1.80. I thought she was feeling bad for me for a second. I was like, oh, you still want that coffee? I'll get you hooked up with the coffee.
Oh, my God. But you know what happened to me? So at Disney, and it's such a Disney thing, right? And I totally forgot because, again, I'm a former cast member over at Walt Disney World. But
do you have pictures of you with your Mickey Mouse ears?
No, you know what? I don't. I don't have or my uniform from back then, my stripes. Because I worked in transportation, so I had the white and yellow stripe costume, and I'm with my daughter along with my best friend's kids, and we're hanging out at Disney Springs, and we decide, all right, it's time for an ice cream break, all right? So we go to the stand where they sell the chocolate shelled Mickey Mouse ears, and then they also have the cookie sandwiches, all right? I'm thinking, kid mess. We're going cookie sandwich, right?
Right.
Like that's the least that one has the least amount of mess possibilities. Anyways,
debatable.
The one she gives me, and this is such a fat guy move. The one she gives me, I can tell is slightly deformed. Like maybe it melted inside a little bit. At some point,
it looks less like Mickey Mouse and more like an actual rat.
Wrong. It felt wrong to me. That's such a fat kid move. And I go, you know what? Like this one feels like it might have melted or something. Could I get another one? And then she goes, oh, sure. Hang on one second. She goes, reaches into the freezer and gives me another one. And then I go to hand her back the one that she originally gave me. She goes, oh, no. Just keep it. Just go ahead and. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
I was like, I even asked her, I'm like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, just keep it. No, you're good.
That's a great start. That's like winning the lottery there.
Well, yeah, because it's not like I dropped it, right? So Disney policy, in case you don't know, if you drop your drink, drop your ice cream, they will replace it for you for free at no charge.
Do they have to go to the video camera and the replay first? Make sure you're not trying to scam them.
They bring in the ESPN commentators.
Forensics.
It's really awkward, yes. And but in this situation, the cookie sandwich was still in the bag, so I couldn't tell that there was something wrong with it. She must have known, I think, that there was probably some.
She was trying to push some bad product, and
deformed.
She got caught.
That's right.
I see. So what happened then is you ended up. So it was a win-lose situation. You thought it was a big win because you got this extra sandwich, but at the same time, you lost your credit card. Is that where the story was going?
No.
Where the hell did the ice cream come into the I lost my credit card story, my debit card?
Because you said that you thought the lady was going to give you the free coffee. And so I'm relating it to the fact that the lady gave me the free ice cream.
Okay. Well, I
mean, she couldn't give you an ice cream that costs $1.50, probably cost them 20 cents.
Right.
And yet here's this girl at Disney giving me a free ice cream that costs $5.
She could have given me a coffee at a damn apple pie. Right. But here's the exciting thing about my life today is so I don't have cash in my wallet, right? I got $1. I don't have credit cards, period. I only have my debit card, which I've lost. And I'm below E. So here's where I'm going to be after the show today.
And you got to cross the bridge.
I got to cross the bridge. So I'm just hitting that below E. So I think I'm okay. I think I've got 30 miles in me, but I'm going to try to get back to St. Pete all the way to Achieva, and to go ahead and just take cash out at that point, reorder a card, and also change my address while I'm there. Now that I live in a new house. And then see if I can make it to the gas station from there without running out of gas.
Do you need a few bucks, Fisher?
Man, if you got if you got 10 on you.
No, I'm kidding. I have no cash on me.
You son of a... Welcome to the Wake.Show this morning. I'm Fisher along with Jonny Torres. We'll get to stuff you should know here in just one moment. But, all the likes, the shares, the comments, the interaction is really, really appreciated. We are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Periscope. And for the audio version of the song or show only, you can get that at Mixlr, M-I-X-L-R. So when people listen to us on Mixlr, are they downloading the Mixlr app?
No, they don't have to. If they go to that URL, they could listen online.
Okay.
But I think so there is a web or a web mobile component. But if you'd like, again, just for a better user experience, you could download the app, which is available on all the app stores.
All right. Here's stuff you should know for Thursday, December 28th. The nation's icebox is feeling the chill and setting records. The National Weather Service reports International Falls and Hibbing set record low temperatures on Wednesday morning. International Falls, the self-proclaimed nation's icebox, plunged to 37 degrees below zero.
Brutal. Speaking of which, good morning to Sarah Garut, who's in Minnesota.
Good morning, Sarah.
Hopefully staying warm. Cam Parker's watching the show this morning.
Good morning, Cam. We'd love to have you back in.
I know. Maybe you should just cam in.
Yeah, Cam in. Send him a Memo Live link.
All right, I'll send him the link.
Yeah, if you're up doing something this morning, you want to we're going to shoot you
even if he's not.
Oh yeah, whatever, man. Cam, we'll chat with you about anything.
Exactly.
And we want to test that technology more and more and more because it seems to be evading us. Just a little bit.
Something we haven't quite figured out on it.
Right. Did we get to the bottom of that issue, the return feed?
No, I'm going to keep working on it today.
All right, never mind, Cam. Don't call us.
Well, we'll try it. We'll see if it works. Who knows?
So anyway, the nation's icebox, talking about International Falls, plunged to 37 degrees below, breaking the old record of 32 below set in 1924. Hibbing bottomed out at 28 below, breaking the old record of 27 below in 1964. Freezing temperatures and below zero wind chills will stay put for days to come across much of the northern United States. Here in the Bay Area, expect it to be rainy and cold on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I guess it's going to get down to into the 40s as far as the low is concerned and be somewhat of a nasty day. A Democrat running for a U.S. House seat in Virginia has been indicted on charges of fraud, embezzlement, and theft in connection with events that allegedly occurred in 2012. Sean Brown, 58, appeared in a Norfolk courtroom last week and denied any wrongdoing. She said she intends to fight the charges and be exonerated, the report said. Tampa police are investigating after a vehicle registered to Buccaneers wide receiver Deshaun Jackson was involved in an accident. The incident happened Sunday night, and a search of the car found marijuana and hollow point bullets, according to a document obtained by the NFL.com. The report said the search found 6.3 grams of marijuana and also two 38 caliber hollow points, which are legal in the state of Florida. Florida State routs Southern Miss in the Independence Bowl 42-13. Who cares?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous that there's bowl games where people are playing that are 6-6.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, I've been giving my Florida State friends a hard time because they're all bragging about how they've gone 40 or 41 seasons with a winning record.
Right.
And it's like, look, you had the most horrible season you've had in decades. Just own it and move on.
Yeah, I mean, you have an excuse, too. You know, you lose your star quarterback at the beginning of the season, you got an excuse. Well, kind of. But anyway, yeah. So
there's a weak excuse, but it's an excuse.
They're 6-6. So winning this bowl game puts them at 7-6. So then like he was just saying, it's 41 consecutive years of winning at Florida State. Not really. Yeah, you're 500, and you should have never been in a bowl game. In all due respect, That's not your fault. I'm not trying to take it out on the Florida State Seminoles. I'm angry at the system. New York lawyer who once advised Martin Shkreli was convicted on Wednesday of helping him defraud a pharmaceutical company, which is interesting because it's a charge a different jury cleared the drug executive of when it found him guilty of securities and fraud earlier in the year. Now, the verdict came after a different jury found in August Shkreli guilty of defrauding hedge fund investors, but not guilty of conspiring with this guy Griebel to steal from Retrofin. He has denied wrongdoing. So how is it that a jury finds Shkreli not guilty of that, but then finds his lawyer who advised him on that guilty? I don't know. And lastly, do you have any answers for me?
Well, it comes down to little legal technicalities, I think. I think there's just details in there that, where you start to kind of parse everything, and that's what makes it, one thing illegal where the other thing where he was not guilty.
And lastly, Kid Rock and Live Nation are being sued by the circus, by Ringling Brothers for trademark infringement. The lawsuit says Kid Rock is using the trademark The Greatest Show on Earth to promote his 2018 tour. The lawsuit filed in Tampa. Why Tampa? Why do you have to drag us into this story? We're in the news enough. You don't need to drag Tampa into this. You could file this anywhere. The lawsuit filed in Tampa asked the court to stop the unauthorized usage of The Greatest Show on Earth in connection with Kid Rock's tour and merchandise. Quote, now the thing is, I guess this is the name of one of his songs as well.
Oh, is it?
That's already up and running, and has 2 million views or something like that on YouTube.
Okay.
But Ringling says this historic trademark has been an important part of Ringling Brothers for the past century, and it is recognized as a trusted and iconic brand in family-friendly entertainment. And that Kid Rock, that son of a bitch, no, The Greatest Show on Earth continues to live on and will do so well into the future. We have no intention of surrendering the trademark because here's the thing, there's no more Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus.
That's right.
It's done. However, they are holding on to the rights for all that stuff and for merchandising. So I guess they're going to try to still make some money off of it. And that's stuff you should know for Thursday, December 28th.
I will say this for Kid Rock. He was probably the first quote unquote rock concert that I ever went to. And I went because I was working at a radio station and I got free tickets. Really had no interest other than that.
I never seen him.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Puts on an amazing concert.
I'm sure.
Amazing concert. I was thoroughly impressed. I didn't think much of him going into it, and I was incredibly impressed with not only his showmanship but his musical talents as well.
Coming up next hour, about 8:30, we'll have on the show a special guest who has just was awarded the Carnegie Medal. The Carnegie Medal is given to those in the United States and Canada who risked their lives to an extraordinary degree while saving or attempting to save the lives of others. This award dates back to 1904. And the guy's name, Noah King, a former Georgia Tech football student athlete. Noah King ended up being one of those extraordinary people. We'll have him on the show coming up in an hour to talk about how he came across a vehicle that was off the road, was on fire, and smashed through the window, injuring himself and having to drag out the person inside as the car is being engulfed in flames. So we'll be talking to him coming up next hour, and looking forward to that. Very excited about that.
Good morning to everybody watching, but Travis Culp writes in that he found our show yesterday. He goes, he misses you on 820.
Hey, Travis.
He's a little unsure as to why. Well, anyways, he makes some disparaging remarks against some other radio talents, but we'll leave those off.
Go ahead, Joe. No, go ahead. We'll address them. Why not? We'll talk. Hey,
all right,
you guys want to talk about other radio people or radio people? Because we're not radio people
We do
anymore.
like talking about the industry. I don't know how fascinating people find that, but sometimes the behind-the-scenes stuff is a little bit more interesting than what happens on the air.
So what did they say?
So Travis says, I found this yesterday. I miss you on 820. Of course, I switched windows just as I was trying to read that. Okay. Found this yesterday. I miss you on 820. I don't know why they replaced you with, I'm thinking he missed with Fat Cross-Eyed MJ, a.k.a. Bubbles, a.k.a. Bubba.
He thinks that MJ and Bubba's the same guy?
I guess so.
Well, listen, I'll tell you why they replaced us. We had a decent show. I think we had a decent show, Kurt and I, when I was over there. However, Bubba the Love Sponge, one of the biggest names in radio for the last 30 years, and when he wanted to get back on the radio, or he needed to get back on the radio, he cut a great deal with them, and I really couldn't blame management there, thinking, all right, well this because the radio station needed some help. I'm good. I'm good at this. I'm okay at. I'm proficient. Let's say proficient.
Yeah,
I'm proficient at what I do. But one of the things that I'm not good at is like promoting myself. I'm horrible at that. And that's one thing. That is definitely one thing that Bubba is great at. Is getting people talking about you and whatnot. So I understand that move there.
It's pretty amazing how the self-promotion aspect of it, especially nowadays with social media, is playing such a big part. There are a few people that spotted it early on. So my buddy Michael Yo, who I worked with at Y100 in Miami, he was a phenomenal self-promoter. I mean, here's a guy who was just doing like an afternoon drive show in Miami, and he was putting out like clothing with his name on it, and he was kind of branding everything with his name, and and kind of putting himself out there as like a quasi celebrity, totally ahead of the curve to what we see now in regards to social media.
Would you say quasi celebrity? It reminds me of another radio friend of mine, Seth Kushner, who is my producer and partner for many, many years, and he started a T-shirt line. And I think he only has one T-shirt right now, but it says St. Pete Famous.
Oh, nice.
Well, I don't know why that. I think that's so funny. I don't know why that is so.
Like I could see a shirt like that doing well.
Yeah, St. Pete Famous. Like I'm Saint. Are you famous? No, I'm St. Pete Famous. Yeah. I'm Tampa Famous, so I could see that line doing well for him. But all right, any other radio that we want to talk about this morning? Anybody want to bash while we're here?
No, it's we'll save that for another day. But Cam's not going to be able to join us today. He doesn't have his voice today, but he's saying maybe he can swing by on Monday. Well, not Monday, but I guess it would have to be because we won't be
Tuesday,
here Monday because of the holiday. But
are we going to be here Tuesday?
What's Tuesday? The 2nd?
Yeah.
All
right. Because I kind of, man, there's a part of me, I'm so torn. I'm so torn because we're in the beginning of the show, so this is very important, and this is not like a typical show. This is not like I'm starting a new job at a radio station, right? And 1 month in, you take a vacation, or 2 months in, you take a vacation while everybody else is taking vacation. It's just the natural way things happen. But when you're starting something new and you're building an audience every single day, you can't really take any time off.
Right.
Here so I don't know. Yesterday, we had a great meeting. I'm sorry for my ADD. Okay, I take back the apology. I can never apologize for that because I apologize too much. I apologize if my ADD is bouncing off the inside of the walls of your brain right now, of your skull. We had a really good meeting yesterday with somebody who might end up becoming a huge sponsor of the show, which would change the game. So we started talking seriously about the show and mapping it out. And so we're presenting these packages, and we're like, all right, so you have to. Well, we'll make sure that they get 50 weeks, right? 50 out of 52 weeks. We figure just you take 2 weeks off in a year. I wanted to raise my hand at that point, Johnny, and go, how about 48 weeks? I'm more of in this point of my life, I kind of want to have like 4 weeks of vacation off, every single year, not 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not enough, man. 2 weeks is not enough to keep you sane.
It's not. Although, you know what? I found 3 weeks is the sweet spot.
I can do 3. Yeah, I could see 3 weeks.
If you do 3 consecutive weeks.
Oh, geez.
I did 3 consecutive weeks about 5 years ago.
Wow.
About 5 years ago.
You definitely
I did
were
5
not
consecutive weeks, and it was the most amazing vacation I've ever had.
I would imagine you probably didn't even want to go back to work.
Oh no, definitely not. I did New Year's in Cartagena, Colombia, and I wanted to stay by the 3rd week.
Oh, I'm sure. But, again, we are in the beginning of something. So this year, you better believe there'll be a minimum of 50 weeks worth of shows. And then we'll figure it out from there. But exciting times. Thank you so much for your support. Let's go over some of the news of the day. And we'll get to the Florida 2017 coming from TampaBay.com.
Oh, by the way, Cam says he's going to come in on Tuesday and talk about a mural he's starting over at Legends Boxing Club.
Awesome, man! Looking for. Make sure your eyebrows are on fleek.
Not to mention, he's going to be starting a mural right here at Bake More Pie soon too. I think probably right after this one that he's doing at Legends.
So Cam Parker will be joining us on Tuesday. Looking forward to his positive energy coming through the studio in Gracie.
You should bring his sister too.
Hey, maybe he could be my show partner.
Oh, hey, that might be interesting.
Huh.
We're going to have to run that one by Cords, but we know Cords is a big fan. So.
Well, I do, yeah, obviously. And Cam, because here's the thing, Cam, if you don't know, Jonny announced yesterday on the show that he has been given an opportunity of a lifetime, or offered the opportunity of a lifetime, which he took, and that is to work for Marco Rubio, a sitting senator, and will be servicing 6 counties in the surrounding area, which is a monumental task. This is not him working on the campaign or anything like that. This is him going into public service.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Because you're such a capitalist. You're such a Michael Keaton. Wait, was that? No. What was Michael J. Fox's character's name?
Alex P. Keaton.
Alex P. Keaton. Thank you. You're such an Alex P. Keaton that it just seems odd that you're going into public service.
I think for me, I just like having an impact no matter what I do. I think it's part of what I've found most exciting about working here at Bake More Pies. I've been able to have other jobs where I've been able to make a big impact or get projects off the ground, that sort of thing. I love that experience of feeling like you're doing really something that's going to have an impact on the people around you. So
we're looking to replace Jonny. Obviously, we only got a week. I don't know how we're going to pull it off.
I know,
but
it's not going to be easy.
I don't see. Cam's an artist, though, man. Yeah. And if you ask, if I could be wrong on this, we'll find out. We'll talk to him on Tuesday. But I think it's very difficult to ask an artist to get up every morning at dark 30.
Well, remember, he says he's a morning person.
Okay, you never know, and he doesn't like. Did he say something about not drinking or something like that?
Yeah, I think he doesn't
that helps.
Do the alcohol, I guess. That helps a lot. So we'll see then. Well, we'll talk more about it, because he wouldn't have to run I could handle the technical stuff. That's right.
And he could just be Cam.
I'll tell you what. The Parkers in general would be a phenomenal show. And maybe that's something to talk to Cords about. His whole family is amazing.
Really?
They've got incredible energy. They have just this great energy about them. His sister's also incredibly talented. She's an entrepreneur. She has her own line of makeup that she's working on. And they all kind of have that Cam Parker-esque just.
All right, maybe we need to develop a reality show around the Parkers then.
I'd get behind that.
With that, I also would like to thank the Wagners for coming out. The Wagners Family Christmas was at a karaoke last night, and they came up and did. It was one of those. What a fun group! Just one of those that if it weren't for that group there, they just set the tone for the entire night. And that's cool. I think they're the reason why I ended up losing my debit card sometime during the evening. But all right, let's get to some stories from 2017. Some of these might ring a bell. Every one of them. And we're not going to get to the stories. The headlines. The headlines of 2017, more specifically, coming out of the state of Florida. Oh, God. Here we go. How weird was the news out of Florida this year? So weird that the popular Florida Man Twitter account apparently gave up trying to keep up with it all in mid-October. He hasn't tweeted anything to his 387,000 followers since 2 weeks before Halloween. This is one of the dropped balls in my career that I regret, because I started doing, the Please Don't Be Florida story of the day probably 10 years ago.
Yeah. Now it seems like everybody's doing it.
Right. And had I right there in the beginning of Twitter had that acumen, had that wherewithal to figure it out and had it started that Florida man account or something to that effect.
Sure.
I would have 387,000 followers. But don't worry, Florida's largest newspaper has not slacked off in tracking all the wacky and wild news this year. As expected, 2017 produced a bumper crop of the bizarre. Some Florida headlines became instant classics. Man accidentally shoots self in road rage incident. And possum breaks into liquor store, gets skunky drunk. And Polk City woman arrested for DUI on a horse. And who could forget lawyers' pants erupt in flames during Miami arson trial? Do you remember that one?
No.
I think the lawyer was trying. I can't remember. Yeah, it was an arson thing, and he was trying to.
The defense attorney.
If I remember, I can't remember if it was the defense attorney, the defense or not. But I think he was trying to make a point about something, like showing how something could happen, and then accidentally set himself on fire.
Oh,
Florida crime, as always, offered a bonanza of bonkers behavior. There was the Pinellas Park man who Googled how to rob a bank. Then he robbed a bank. He apparently forgot to Google how to get away with it. That's not my joke. That's the one coming from the Tampa Bay Times. Let's see. Let's go ahead and give credit to Craig Pittman on that one. And who could forget a woman in a bikini contest in Stewart was busted for bashing a competitor in the head with her high-heeled shoe. A Merritt Island man, this is all 2017. A Merritt Island man trashed an ATM because he said it gave him too much cash. That story actually was just a couple days ago. That was some stuff that I had put in the prep that we didn't get to. Yeah. When a SWAT team raided a home in the retirement mega community of the Villages, police found more than just the meth lab that they had expected. They also discovered it was a chop shop for, do you remember the story? It was a chop shop for
golf carts.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Stolen golf carts.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Some of the best crime stories involved a seasonal or celestial angle. In December, a Lottie woman who was charged with stealing statues, figurines, and even concrete benches from a cemetery was dubbed the gravesite Grinch. In November, a woman was charged with shoplifting while dressed as a turkey. Oh, Florida, how I love thee. In August, a fleeing car thief got caught when he stopped at a hardware store in Kissimmee to buy a welder's mask so he could watch the solar eclipse. In June, a Jackson... How great is that? You go on a... You steal a car, and then you realize, oh, well, crap, I don't want to miss the eclipse. Let me get a welder's mask. A man who was stealing a trailer in Cooper City stopped long enough to have sex with his accomplice. In Sarasota, a tennis match had to be halted because of the noise from a couple's amorous exploits. In Fort Walton Beach, a woman told police that she attacked her husband only because he threw her sex toys at her. Yeah. Wronged women became something of a theme this year as well, according to TampaBay.com. A woman donned a wig to sneak into a Palm Coast wedding where she spotted her boyfriend kissing someone else, poured a drink on him, punched the other woman, fled to the bathroom, and then was dragged out by the angry bridesmaids and got into a brawl with them. Man, I missed that story. I did not see that one this year.
He sounds like fun.
Yeah. Well, what the F is that? So she I guess suspected that her boyfriend was doing something nefarious, and she was right.
Yeah.
So she goes incognito and wedding crashes somebody's wedding, finds her boyfriend there with somebody else, and starts a fight. Oh, man.
What I want to know is, how did we not have a camera crew like following this lady?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's got to be video. Somebody's got to break
security cam footage at least.
Something. Let's see here. Meanwhile, a Palm Beach Gardens mom threw eggs at her daughter's boyfriend, then chased him through the yard with her Mercedes because he'd confessed to her daughter that he'd been cheating with the mom. Oh. All these stories are all coming from the state of Florida in 2017. Think about all the stories that didn't hit the news. All the possible headlines out there that we'll never know about, coming from our fine state. Food often played a role in our news as well in 2017. A Lakeland man was arrested for dragging a table into the middle of a crosswalk and sitting there eating pancakes. When a state trooper stopped a drunk driver in Port St. Lucie and asked her for her driver's license, she tried to give him a half-eaten burrito. So is that a bribe, or is she just that drunk? In Marathon, two men broke into a closed IHOP, cooked burgers and fries, then tossed a safe off the roof and fled without the safe. By far, the strangest food-related crime involved a man from Bay County who was armed with a machete when he stole some potato chips. He was then pursued by 4 deputies and crashed into their cars. Those must be the best-tasting chips in the world. Speaking of machetes, here we go. School was placed in lockdown when a man threatened parents in the car line with a gun and a dead possum. A St. Louis County woman used a Christmas tree topper to hit her sister. A Vero Beach woman attacked a police officer with an electric toothbrush. And not all weapons function the way they were supposed to. A Lee Acres man was asleep in a chair when his dog barked, startling him. So he jumped up, knocked a .25 caliber pistol off the end table. When it hit the floor, it shot him in the thigh. A Plantation police officer giving a gun safety lesson to school children warned them that his taser was not a toy, and then accidentally tasered a 10-year-old. Sorry, that's not funny. That's not funny. It's hilarious. Police, let's see here. A Jacksonville man sat down on a gun in the driver's seat of his car and shot himself in the penis. Also in 2017. Florida's highway continues to be unsafe at any speed. In November, a man who caused a collision at a Claremont intersection told police he did it because he was so sick of seeing all the other unsafe drivers roaring through that intersection. 3 Tallahassee college students caught doing 113 miles per hour with pot in their car told police they were speeding because they were late for class. Police in Fort Pierce said a man jumped into a burning car, drove it around the block, stopped, jumped out, and then fired several shots into it. And it wasn't his car. Animals were also in the news in Florida. Clearwater Beach man risked eviction from his condo because of his devotion to, remember, his emotional support squirrel. And yes. Wouldn't the emotional support squirrels be a great name for an indie rock band? Iguanas repeatedly popped up in that'd be great. Iguanas repeatedly popped up in toilets around the state. Look for the Florida toilet iguanas to open for the emotional support squirrels next year. Sorry that I'm botching these jokes because they're not mine, and I'm not.
And they're pretty terrible.
Well, I think they'd probably be a little bit better. An Inglewood family heard a noise in their attic and soon learned the source was a 6-foot boa constrictor. Oh my gosh. And that the snake had apparently been living there for more than 2 years. That would freak me out. The Okaloosa County School District had to evacuate its headquarters because it became overrun with squirrels, raccoons, and blowflies. A Lee County woman, 71, was attacked by a 10-foot alligator while she was working in her garden. She fought the gator off by stabbing it in the nose with her shears. And then some things that happened this year defied explanation as we get to the end of the story. A Deerfield Beach family, heard a loud thud, ran outside, discovered 15 pounds of Italian sausage had just hit their roof. No one could ever figure out why or where it came from. What do you mean? What do you mean? There's not a lot of play. It didn't get shot out of a cannon. 15 pounds of Italian sausage hits your roof and you don't know where it comes from. A 45-foot sailboat washed ashore in Melbourne Beach after Hurricane Irma, hundreds of miles from its port in Key West. Its only occupants? A pair of mannequins. A sign language interpreter tried to convey information at a pre-Irma news conference in Bradenton, produced mostly gibberish, including the sentence, help you at the time to use bear big. Help you at the time to use bear big.
Well, we had that Tampa story, too, with the Seminole Heights killer and the sign language.
Oh, are these two different stories? You're right.
Yeah.
That's what I had in my head.
Yeah, no, that was the Hurricane Irma guy.
Yeah.
Or woman, and then there was the Seminole Heights killer sign language interpreter, who was also phony.
And by far, according to TampaBay.com, the greatest Florida news story of the year, though, and one of the greatest of all time, was contained in a small police beat brief in this very newspaper published in early December. The online headline says it all. Florida man arrested after yelling about how terrible Florida is. Thank you so much, Craig Pittman of the Tampa Bay Times. It's the Wake.Show. Thank you so much. Oh, speaking of 2017 and those kinds of lists and whatnot,
yep.
CNN Entertainment has put out the top YouTube videos that went viral in 2007. It's probably
go through some of those.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys remember Professor Robert Kelly's BBC interview?
Oh, my God. Did I love that?
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, because I particularly love this one for two reasons. One, because he's talking like global politics and news and that sort of thing. But the fact that I've been fortunate to do my fair share of TV stuff, and this is just worst case scenario.
So I put it up on the screen there. I put up the full video, but it is such a great video to watch. This man who's very serious. And his kid comes into the room. His kids start coming into the room, and he can't. They won't listen to him and stay. Well, no, he's not even trying to shoo them out. He doesn't even know they're behind him at first, right?
Not at first, but I still think he played it totally wrong. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, it looks like, was that a nanny or the wife, or I don't know who that was, comes flying into the room, trying to stay low out of the camera and pull the kids out.
Which just made it so much worse.
It was awesome.
And hysterical.
YouTube's top viral video in 2017 was a singing man in an oyster costume.
What?
The masked performer was a contestant on Thailand's aptly named singing competition show, The Masked Singer. The man in the mask sings until... All right, well, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about here. We're going to have to see...
Yeah.
We're going to have to see this one. Levels all right?
Yeah.
So the show is called The Masked Singer.
Probably bring that.
มีให้แค่เท่านี้มีเพียงแค่เท่านี้ไม่มีมากมายดังใครเขามี
What
มี
the?
ให้เพียงนิดน้อยแต่ให้ไปเกินร้อยไม่มีเงินตราบองพูดชนะแม่เดือคอยไม่มีรถเก๋งแอร์เย็น
So,
อย่างใคร
is this show really just to judge talent, so they cover your face and so your looks don't count? Is that what this is about? The premise?
I have no idea, because I think they're translating the lyrics at the bottom, which make absolutely no sense.
Well, he's not done, by the way. There's a reason that this is one of the top videos watched this year. I guess, because not because I know, because I've seen it.
You've got the rundown.
Yeah, I've got the but I don't know at what point.
So we haven't reached the kicker yet.
Yeah, at what point this gets interesting. It might be right here. So then they cut to everybody else backstage in masks as well. Man. All right. Okay, well that one misses me.
So what were they saying happens?
Well, does
he win? I mean,
it starts out as a ballad, eventually breaks into a rap. So I'm thinking it gets hardcore there.
Oh,
but
got it.
It's kind of a all right then. That's one of the biggest videos out there.
Good morning, Lisa Kraft, who checks in with us every morning. Hello.
Do you want to take a guess on how many views that thing's had?
I will say 70 million.
182 million.
Holy cow.
182 million people seen that thing. YouTube determined its top trending videos based on time spent watching, sharing, commenting, liking, and other metrics. The top videos of the year, I guess.
Psy's Gangnam Style is still like one of the most watched videos on YouTube.
But it is not anymore.
Really?
I think we'll get to that here in the story. Ed Sheeran's Shape of You had people dancing all summer, although most people probably don't have the moves like the ones in the choreography. 7 minutes and 16 seconds into the incredible table tennis trick shots. You probably don't want to play beer pong with these guys. All right, let's see this one real quick.
That one sounds like fun.
Yeah, screw Ed Sheeran.
I love the Dude Perfect video. Oh, that's these guys. I love these guys.
New Gatorade Jordan.
These Dude
1s.
Perfect videos are
Marcus.
amazing.
No problem, man.
Wait, we can skip
I got
this
the
video.
new kicks on.
Yeah, let's
get started.
Yeah.
Oreo Dominoes with a little milky splash. Hits the mousetrap. Triggers the marbles. Makes its way to the bottom. Bang! Hits the mousetrap. Up and away the balloons go. Releases
Also got
the
a
golf
love
ball.
where they incorporate
Makes
their
its card.
sponsors too.
Makes its way up the track. A little
That's
into the
Case
good. Makes it to the top.
What's that? How they incorporate their sponsors?
Yeah.
It's party time! Ping pong balls, load up the dump truck. Beep, beep, beep. Loads the cannon. Golf ball makes its way down the ramp to the launch pad. Pow! It's hammer time! Baseball triggers the milky balls. Down into the bucket. Full auto time! Skeet Buster! Giant Oreo cues the title. We're doing perfect. Welcome to Ping Pong Trick Shot 3.
Those are amazing, man. They really are.
Ping pong toss to
Those
free.
guys, man, it's and the thing they originally just started doing these to amuse themselves. Like they would just do this stuff to.
And what amazes me is that, like, they're real, right? This isn't set up. This isn't CGI or anything like that. These things are real.
They've even had Guinness World Records on there. I think a couple times they've broken some Guinness World Records.
You gotta love your wife. You gotta love your wife. I just got a text from my wife.
Okay.
She goes, "I can't believe you're wearing that shirt on TV."
Why do you sleep in that shirt?
Well, here's I just got it. Like within the last week. It will consider it part of my Christmas present. And
So what's wrong with wearing it on
exactly. But here's the thing: it was only $1. This shirt that I'm wearing was $1. We were
Really?
at JC Pitt. I don't remember where we were.
Well, just because it's on sale doesn't mean that there's
Well,
anything wrong with it.
Technically, here we go. It is big. How does it look? How's it play? I mean, does it look weird on camera or something?
No, it looks fine on camera.
All right.
Especially rolling up the sleeves. It looks
Yeah.
It's look Christmassy, comfortable.
There we go. Show a little chest there. Now let's get back to this. Where did my story go? Okay, next up.
Sarah earlier was chiming in. I don't want to leave her question unrecognized, not her question, her comment when we were talking about radio people. She goes, she was sad when Danielle left 97X. She goes, none of the folks she used to listen to on that station are there anymore. She stopped listening regularly, and then when you and Seth left. So glad to find this and that you're doing this.
Well, thank you very much. We had a lot of fun there for a while at doing mornings at 97X. Danielle was a huge part of that. But, man, she started off as, for going way back, Braces the intern.
Oh, funny.
When she came into the show, she was in braces, and I don't even think she was 21. But she has busted her ass, very talented, and is now the morning show host at Magic 94.9, one of the big adult contemporary stations in town. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So congratulations to her.
I don't know why I thought she was like at the Bone or something.
Nope. Seth is over at doing Drew's show. This 12-year-old singer ventriloquist his amazing performance on America's Got Talent. It was so good, it got her the golden buzzer treatment and sent her straight to the live. So did you see this?
I love ventriloquists, but yes, this girl's very talented.
All right, I didn't see this one. You said you love ventriloquists?
I do.
Why are you laughing?
It's such a crazy talent
You're true.
and hilarious
name?
if you're good at it.
My name's Darcy Lynn.
Okay, and Darcy, who's that?
My name's Petunia.
Who talks?
Is it a bunny?
Yes.
Is that a real bunny? Well, we're going to find out. Okay. And Darcy, why did you both decide to enter the show?
Well, it was one of my big dreams. But also, I would really like to keep ventriloquism alive because it's not common, you know?
You don't have to.
So-
You don't. It's
Well,
okay.
listen, Darcy, best of luck. I really hope you both do
Thank
well.
you so much.
All right, good luck.
I'm a big fan of the Simon Cowell, by the way.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Hit it. Wait, you're gonna sing? Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh wow, that is impressive.
Fish
Jeez. How do you do that?
And she's good. Like her mouth does not move.
Aw. Holy crap. That is something. I can see why you get the golden buzzer or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so good. I mean, it doesn't. You know what technology we do need to get in here? A nice tight zoom for every time I tear up during a show.
You know what's really sweet?
So that was something.
Your puppet, I'm guessing.
All right, so obviously a good one there.
What happened with our Facebook feed?
Uh-oh, what? We're off Facebook?
Yeah.
How did that happen? That doesn't, Huh.
I think we got kicked off for the YouTube video.
Oh, okay. See, we've been wondering about that.
We're still live on YouTube and Periscope.
Now, will Facebook pick us back up? Like once this stopped, you know, do they put a pause and then it brings us back up, or do you have to reset? Like go in there and restart the show? We were wondering about, you know, you and I have played, you know, quite a few clips, and we know that you can get away with playing some, but we're not sure, you know, kind of how the, I don't know, I guess the rules apply, but now we're finding out. We find it as we go along. All right, up next, Ed Sheeran made the list twice this time. It was his debut on James Corden's Carpool Karaoke, in which we learned Sheeran could stuff 55 Maltesers into his mouth at one point. Yeah, those were huge videos this year. One of the bigger ones, for obvious reasons, was the one that they did with Linkin Park, but had not aired when Chester Bennington took his own life. And that ended up being a huge one afterwards. Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime performance, another big one. Inauguration Day, of course. But here we go. The most watched music videos of the year. You want to take a guess?
Most watched videos of the year?
Yeah. Ed Sheeran, Shape of You was not the most watched. It was the second most watched.
Of the year. No, I'm at
Despacito.
Oh, yeah, I should have figured.
Despacito took the crown. Not only is the Luis Fonsi, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, and Daddy Yankee, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. His massive hit was the most viewed music video this year, but it's also the most viewed YouTube video of all time. So now it's overtaken Gangnam Style.
Got it.
Also worth noting that 6 of the top 10 are sung in Spanish.
Huh.
6 of the top 10 most watched YouTube videos, music videos, were sung in Spanish.
That's huge.
Yes, it is. All right, and that's you know when you bring up YouTube videos of 2017, does anything jump to the front of your head?
You know what's so funny is though the one from the BBC was so early in the year that I forgot that it was this year. It's certainly.
So, are we going to get kicked off of Facebook for this one too?
Yeah, no kidding. Hold on, let me see because I'm trying to get us back on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Without having to restart the show.
Yeah, I know sometimes they'll give you a warning and then you're back up, but I wonder if we played too much of that. See, I think the key to that kind of stuff on this kind of a show is you just can't let too much of that video play without you talking over it, because I think the way the rules are is if you're commenting over the top of copyrighted music or something like that, then they'll let that slide. But if you're sitting there, because we played the entire thing, that's basically taking somebody else's content, appropriating it for ourselves. So lesson learned. Lesson learned on that. Oh, I guess you should hit play before, because this looks pornographic. And are shaped to resemble a flaccid, drizzled with a dipping sauce. Make for an unusual looking eating experience. I'm narrating this for those people who aren't looking at their screen. You see the name of this thing?
No.
The cock cake?
Oh, of course it's
Would you eat that? On a dare?
on a dare, probably.
So, I don't know how this isn't one of the didn't make the top 10 list from YouTube.
You know, I've never seen something like this before, so when I saw it, I knew I had to get my hands on it.
Oh, of course. Now, before we get kicked off of another platform, let me shut that down. And that's your viral video of the year right there. You see there's a lockdown at the Aventura Mall. They were talking Florida stuff here, by the way, if you're not here in the state of Florida. South Florida stuff. You're a South Florida boy, right?
Yes.
Aventura.
Been there a number of times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Twitter account for Aventura Mall couldn't keep pace with the social media of its own shoppers. The scramble to flee was already well underway when Aventura management tweeted at 7:58 on the Saturday before Christmas. The police had found no evidence of gunfire, but the mall was nonetheless being evacuated as a precaution. Thousands had already spent almost an hour trying to escape from one of the busiest shopping centers in Florida. Presents were dropped, items were knocked over, people trampled each other, children were separated from their parents.
Jeez.
Once outside side shoppers spilled into the parking lot so jammed that there was little, if any, movement. Fueling the panic was something that has now become common, an explosion of voices on social media claiming to have heard gunfire that, by all police accounts, never happened. In one Twitter feed, a self-proclaimed investigative journalist posted a video of people running out of the mall towards a crosswalk as the man approached from the left. The tweet claimed that the man was holding a gun. That was not at all clear in the murky image. It also wasn't even clear if the video was of Aventura Mall. Less than an hour after the first call about the possible active shooter reached law enforcement, the police had cleared out the 2.7 million square foot shopping center looking for something. There was nothing. Saturday night's chaos was the most recent example of social media fueling public fear. Do you remember this happened in Orlando earlier in the year? It happened in Orlando. I want to say it was surrounding like the grand opening of Joey Fatone's new restaurant or hot dog stand. Joey Fatone from NSYNC, and I think it's called Fat Ones Hot Dogs or something like that. And so balloons started to pop inside the mall. People thought that was a gunfire, and the same thing happened. They ended up clearing the mall, but nothing. There was nothing ever. Nothing to concern yourself with. All right, before we get to some of the other stuff, we got a guest coming up at 8:30. Very excited to talk to Noah King, who was awarded the Carnegie Medal for Outstanding Civilian Heroism on Tuesday. So we're going to talk to a real life hero. Somebody who put their life in danger to save, and I believe it's a stranger too. I don't think they knew the person. He came across a car, knew it had been in an accident. Fire was beginning to engulf and he leapt into action. Ended up injured in the process, but we're going to talk to a real life hero coming up in just a couple. I'm sure he's not going to see himself like that. I didn't do anything that anybody else wouldn't do. I'm not too sure about that.
All right, let's go ahead and restart the show because we're not able to get Facebook up and running without restarting. So
we have to restart everything. You can't, or can you just go right to the Facebook
we can just
platform?
Pick up.
Okay.
We can just pick right up from what? No, that's the thing. I have to restart. We have to kind of restart the whole thing.
All right. Well, go ahead, restart everything, and then we'll do stuff you should know and
just
get to.
hang tight. We'll be back if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube. We'll be live again in just a minute. And then we'll be back up on YouTube on Facebook as well. What bugs the shit out of me is that Cords is texting me while I'm trying to get the fucking show back on, and I'm like, motherfucker, I can't get the show back on if you keep texting me. Fucking pisses me off. All right, here we go. Hold on.
Good morning. It's the Wake.Show with Fisher and Jonny Torres. Let's get to stuff you should know. And then coming up in about 15 minutes, our guest, Noah King, a real-life hero. We're excited about that. He's been awarded the Carnegie Medal. The Carnegie Medal is something that's awarded to people in the U.S. or Canada who have for outstanding civilian heroism. So we'll be talking to a real life hero coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stuff you should know. The nation's icebox is feeling the chill and setting a record. The National Weather Service reports International Falls and Hibbing set record low temperatures on Wednesday morning. International Falls, the self-proclaimed nation's icebox, plunged to 37 degrees below zero, breaking the old record of 32 below set in 1924. Hibbing bottomed out at 28, breaking their old record of 27 below. By the way, 28 below, 27 below. Set in 1964, freezing temperatures and below zero wind chills will stay put for days to come across much of northern United States. And here in the Bay Area, you can expect it to be cold and rainy come New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. A Democrat running for a U.S. House seat in Virginia has been indicted on charges of fraud, embezzlement, and theft in connection with the events that allegedly occurred in 2012. Sean Brown, 58, appeared in a Norfolk courtroom last week and denied any wrongdoings. He said she intends to fight the charges and be exonerated. Tampa police are investigating a vehicle registered to Buccaneers wide receiver Deshaun Jackson that was involved in an accident. The incident happened Sunday night, and a search of the car found marijuana and hollow point bullets, according to the documents obtained by NFL.com. 6.3 grams of marijuana, to be exact. I didn't know hollow point bullets. I thought those were illegal, but they're not. They're legal in the state of Florida. I don't understand why.
I had no idea.
Because in case somebody needs extra killing. Why they need an extra killing.
A little extra something.
Wanted to make sure that the bullet, breaks apart in the brain, bounces around a little bit. Florida State routs Southern Miss in the Independence Bowl, 42-13. Who cares? Should never even been a bowl game. Nope. 6-6. I don't know what Southern Miss was, what their record was. Probably just as bad. So FSU, now 7-6 because of this bowl game, can say that they have had a winning season for 41 consecutive years. Had they not gone to this, why I call it an Independence Bowl, if you're going to have a team that's 6-6 and another team that with a similar record, just call it the shit bowl. Because that's what it is. Oh, no, it's not. It's not a shit bowl. It still makes some people money. It's shit.
Well, not to steer you away from stuff you should know, but a little inside baseball is that, and I don't think people realize some of these bowls have no actual significance in the overall. They're not part of the college playoff system or the college bowl system. These are promotional games developed by the TV networks like ESPN. So like the Gasparilla Bowl that we had here recently. Very cool that we get to have those kind of events here in town.
You don't have to say that. You don't have to say that.
No, I mean, it's good for the community.
Is it?
It's a good economic stimulus. People fly in here, spend a lot of money to come and hang out for a few days. But it's self-serving to ESPN. It just fills programming. That's all.
A New York lawyer who once advised Martin Shkreli was convicted on Wednesday of helping him defraud a pharmaceutical company. A charge, however, that a different jury cleared the drug executive of when it found him guilty of securities fraud earlier in the year. The verdict came after a different jury in August found Shkreli guilty of defrauding hedge fund investors, but not guilty of conspiring with this lawyer, to steal from Retrofin. He has denied wrongdoing. And Kid Rock and Live Nation are being sued for trademark infringement. By who? By Ringling Brothers. The lawsuit says Kid Rock is using the trademark The Greatest Show on Earth to promote the 2018 tour. Can't do that. The lawsuit filed in Tampa asked the court to stop the unauthorized usage of The Greatest Show on Earth in connection with Kid Rock's tour and merchandise. Quote, that they only had this trademark since 1985?
Oh, wow.
You'd think that's something they would have had under the belt a long time, unless it's one of those things. Since 1985.
Yeah, I would have thought it was a lot earlier than that, but that's probably around this time I started going to the Ringling Brothers.
The lawsuit filed in Tampa asked the court to stop it. This historic trademark has been an important part of Ringling Brothers for the past century, and it is recognized as a trusted and iconic brand of family-friendly entertainment. The Greatest Show on Earth continues to live on and will do so well into the future. We have no intention of surrendering the trademark or allowing it to be tarnished, they said. And that's stuff you should know for Thursday, December 28th. By the way, do you have any New Year's plans? New Year's Eve? You do anything big?
No, just because I'll have my daughter over the weekend, and so it's going to be kind of weird. Just not with it falling on a Sunday, and then her being so young, and so I don't even know if I'm gonna. I think she might be a little too young, maybe for fireworks. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Aw. How's it being a dad?
Oh, dude, it's amazing. It's really incredible. I mean, a friend of mine and I were talking about it, now that we're both dads, and we were saying, like, yeah, obviously there's a lot of suck, right? There's probably 60% of it that sucks, but the 40% of it is so amazing that it just
What do you mean 60% sucks?
Well,
it sucks more than it doesn't suck is what you're saying.
Yeah, but the part that doesn't suck is so incredibly amazing that it completely cancels out the parts that suck.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not, again, Valentina is very easy to deal with. I mean, she's a very easy child to manage, and so I don't think she falls into that 60% range.
Which means you're gonna have a rough teen years.
Probably.
If she's a good baby, if she's a good little one, then you're gonna have rough teen years. I think that's the way it goes.
But when it's good, man, it's so good. I mean, it's just it's incredibly rewarding. It's easily one of the best things I've ever done.
And the only reason it's in my head is because the wife and I were talking money yesterday. We're talking this coming year.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, we got to do this with the house and that with the house, and get me an SUV. And the reason being is because we want to start a family.
Nice.
If things are going well as we get into this coming, I can't believe it. Holy crap. I'm 45 years. What the hell am I thinking?
I wish I would have done it, maybe not 10 years earlier, but I think I wish I would have done it maybe even 5 years earlier.
So she's in a wedding in March. Why? Because you're what, 37?
37, yeah.
37, so you're
So I'd say early 30s, I think would have been fun.
I think probably when you look back at it, it is easier. You get it out of the way early, as soon as you get out of college or whatever in your early to mid 20s, because then by the time you're hitting your 40s, your mid 40s, and getting the kids out of the house, you've established yourself. You've got money in theory, you've got money put away, and so on and so forth.
That's why I'd say late 20s, early 30s. I think's the money.
Yeah,
that's where you want to shoot for.
Well, luckily she's in her early 30s.
There you go.
But yeah, so she's kind of floats that out there. So we got to get me a minivan or a SUV, and because if things go okay. Go as planned. She's in a wedding in March, so she doesn't want to be pregnant before this wedding. This is her best friend's wedding, so how that kind of stuff goes,
right?
But yeah, I think as they say, we'll be pulling the goalie in March. Holy crap, that is 3 months away.
Well, you still got about a year, right? So you got 3 months plus the 9 months. I mean, and hopefully all goes well because, it was a challenge for Michelle and I, even though we both wanted it. And we did everything under the sun, literally everything under the sun, including IVF. And so it's the irony, right? That the people who often don't want to get pregnant are the ones that do.
Right.
And those that do, sometimes have a challenge at it, and so.
Were you married?
No, we were not.
But you guys wanted to have a kid together.
Yeah,
how very modern family.
We just kind of did it out of order because she's older than I, and so it was also there were some biological reasons there that wanted. So we wanted to try to get ahead of that.
All right, and then were there plans to get married and then things fall apart? Or okay.
Yeah, that was the original plan.
Man, I'm not trying to pry into you.
No, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, that was the original plan. Was that we just we got engaged and then we started trying and we just got more consumed by trying to start a family than we did by the actual marriage.
What's the most hero thing you've ever done?
Oh man. I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
I can't. When you throw that out there, there's nothing that. Let's see. I ran towards a fire once, but I was not able to get close to help the people that were inside. Oh, when I was a child, I dialed 911 when there was a house fire on my block, and but that's not the same. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, we'll be talking to Noah King, who is a recipient who has been awarded the Carnegie Medal for Outstanding Civilian Heroism. and he actually played for Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
He was a student athlete. He played for offensive line for the Yellow Jackets from 96 to 99. Was one of 20 Carnegie Medals recipients named on Tuesday. He received the honor in recognition of his extraordinary heroism on October 25th, 2016 in Panama City, Florida. Now, how we ended up getting this guy is, come to find out, the owner of Bakemore Pies here, Cords, played football at Georgia Tech. When he told me this, I thought he was effing with me for a second, because Cords is, what, 5'11", all of 140 pounds. I'm just sorry. I'm 60, 155, and but he was a kicker, a place kicker for the back in college. So anyway, so he knows this guy, and he saw this in the news. Like, holy crap! So he tracked him down, and we're going to get him on the show, talk to a real life hero. Speaking of the word hero, the term hero, I do feel like it is tossed around a little loosely. And to me, a hero is exactly who we're going to be talking to. Somebody who puts their life in their physical, themselves in harm's way to help somebody else. Or even not even to somebody sometimes. Because a lot of times people will put their life in jeopardy to save what? An animal.
Right.
Might be their pet dog, cat, or it might be a horse that's fallen through the ice. But we humans, listen, you can say a lot. I know we got our shit. We got some stuff. We got stuff we need to still work on. But at the same time, don't ever get too down on humans, because I would imagine it's not too natural for a species to go out of their way and put their life in harm's way to help another species.
Hey, don't make me bring up that monkey video again.
Touche, sir.
No, but you're right.
Touche.
You're right. I think yes.
Yeah, but humans kind of look like gorillas. We're still primates. We're still in the same still great apes. Still in the same category. But yeah, I do think sometimes that heroes tossed around a little too loosely. I'm going to bring up a story that was here in the Bay Area years ago. I'm not going to bring up any names, and it's not specific enough where I think I'm going to hurt anybody's feelings if they happen to know these. But I remember watching the news, and there was an older gentleman sitting on the couch with his grandkid who was like 8 or something, 7, 6. And he was talking about how his grandkid was his hero. He saved his life because he had a heart attack and the kid dialed 911. All right, listen, that's fine. Between grandpa and grandkid, if you want to say you're my hero, that's cool. But for public conversation, that's no hero. If the kid would have, fought off a pack of pit bulls to get to the phone to dial 911, then I'm going to give him hero status. Right. But outside of that, I'm like, let me ask you something. Is Sully a hero?
Yes.
Is a pilot who simply performs their job and in an emergency situation was able to land a plane and save, everybody on board. Nobody died.
Yeah, I think given the circumstances, yeah.
If you're somebody on that plane, yes, you're saying you are my hero as you're walking off. But and again, I think a hero needs to be defined as somebody who puts themselves in harm's way in order to help out somebody else. And in that situation, he didn't put himself in harm's way. Harm's way found him. And he was able to get that plane in the water safely, and everybody lived. And I can understand why everybody on that plane would go, that is my hero. I can understand why that grandfather would go, that kid is my hero because he saved your life. But we need to come up with another word for saving somebody's life, but you don't put your life in peril. Or am I being too much of a jerk when it comes to the hero status, Jonny Torres?
No, you're right. I think it is often thrown around, and I think people don't. It's just an overused word. But I think you're maybe wanting to define it a little too succinctly. Because again, Sully, yes, doing his job. Did he save hundreds of lives? Adequately landing that plane in the Hudson River? Yes, absolutely. And I think he should be classified as a hero for doing so, because based on the accounts from other pilots, what he did was
extraordinary
yes.
or normal.
No, it was extraordinary.
Really? So you talking to other pilots are going, hey, man, that was a good job. I don't know if I could have done that. Or does every pilot go, I could have done that too?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. I think had it been like, oh, okay, well, anybody could have landed the plane in the Hudson, then yeah, I'd say you were right. Like, it's no big deal. But given the fact that what he did, the way that he was able to land the plane with no casualties, I think was extraordinary enough to make him a hero.
Okay. Superhero?
As Noah drinks from his Superman mug.
Yep. How you doing, Noah King?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, sir. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Wake.Show. I'm Fisher, and along with Jonny Torres here, and you know Cords. You know the owner of Bake More Pies. You guys played ball together at Georgia Tech.
That is correct.
So what I didn't know this about Cords. You're an offensive lineman, so I'm assuming that you are not 5'10", 140 pounds.
No, I was about 6'2", 270, 280 at my highest. When my senior year, I was probably about my biggest, about 280.
And I would imagine Cords back then was even smaller than he is now.
I don't know how small he is now, but yeah, he was definitely smaller than I was.
But he was a place kicker, so that's how you guys know each other. And he shared with us your story about you winning, or you were being awarded the Carnegie Medal for Outstanding Civilian Heroism. Tell us about that, about getting that phone call, and how did this organization track you down and say, hey, man, we want to give you this prize?
Well, basically, I got after the incident in October, I think it was sometime in December, I got a letter from the Carnegie Hero Fund saying that I had been nominated for the award, and that they would be contacting me and other people to go through the process. And after that, I received phone calls, interviews, questionnaires asking me about the incident, what happened. My coworker, Beverly, who was there, she was interviewed by the people over there at the Carnegie Hero Fund. They asked for my medical records. I think they contacted other people. I'm not too sure, just the people that I know.
Your medical records?
And then it was just found out a couple of weeks ago.
Your medical records? Why'd they want your medical records? They want to make sure you weren't doing any drugs or something?
In some cases, if you get hurt or something like that, they will compensate you for that. But I was very, very lucky. I just had some gashes on my knuckle, nothing significant at all. So that's the reason I asked for medical. I thought it was a little odd myself as well.
So they weren't asking for medical records going back to childhood. They were just from the incident itself. They wanted to confirm that you had been injured during this thing.
Correct, and I think it's another way they're just following through, making sure that the story is as it was played out to be. Because they do have some. The lady I talked to, Missy over there, she said they do have some issues where people have kind of staged heroic stuff, and so that's why they go through the interview process. And I think that was part of it to maybe compensate me if I was hurt, and also just to kind of to help verify the story as well.
Is there a cash award that comes along with the Carnegie Medal?
Yes, there is, and it all depends exactly what happens. People who've lost their lives, they'll possibly compensate their children through a college fund, or a widow through some type of pension type payment. I'm not exactly sure. I was given $5,000, so that was pretty neat.
Oh yeah. Wow, that is. Man, you're out there patrolling the roads looking for cars you're looking for people to save.
I don't care to ever do that again if I don't have to.
Well, Noah King, let's talk about the incident that has gotten you onto the show and into the news recently. And that is October 25th, 2016, Panama City, Florida. Take us through that.
Well, I was actually coming back from speaking at American Cancer Society Relay for Life kickoff party. I was asked to speak as a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with cancer in June that year, and then it was pretty fast acting after that. I was in Mayo Clinic in July, then August 9th I had surgery over in Jacksonville, Mayo. And so I was leaving that and coming down the street. I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but down Baldwin Road, and there's a particular section that's kind of dark, not a lot of lights. But over on the left-hand side of the road, something looked odd. I could tell it was a fire or something. And so as I got close to it, I stopped across from it, and I noticed it was a fire, but I still couldn't tell exactly what it was. So me and my coworker, who was following me at the time, we both pulled over, and as we started walking towards the fire, I noticed it was a vehicle upside down. I pulled out my phone, tried to call 911, and I was just a wreck. And I looked over at Beverly, I'm like, can you please call 911? I can't work my phone apparently right now. So we walk over. As we get close, we could hear like a knocking or a banging. Geez. And so I walked down the culvert over to the vehicle, and it was the driver's side that was up like this. And so I go over there and I look through the window, and I see that the gentleman is standing up, and he's trying to actually kick the windshield out. And so I banged on the window, and he just kind of looked over me, and then he went right back to kicking the windshield, trying to get out through the front. So I banged on it again, and then he got his attention and said, just stand back. And so I was going to try to break the window, and so I hit it with my forearm the first time. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, so I didn't hit it as hard as probably should have. So I hit it one time, nothing happened. Then I hit it again, and then the third time honestly, I kind of was getting a little worried at that point because the fire was increasing at that point. And so I hit it the third time. I broke through the driver's side window, and then I stuck about halfway through the window, and I asked if there's anybody else in the car. He said no. I said, are you sure? Is there anybody else in the car? He said no. He said, I think I broke my leg. And so I reached and I grabbed underneath his shoulders, and I pulled him out through the window, and then I dragged him up the culvert and then away from the vehicle. And then when I broke the window, that's when the fire really started to take off. So yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's what happened.
And I don't want to make too light of the situation, but was it one of those things like as soon as you dragged him far enough away from the car, then the car exploded? Like in the movies?
No.
Damn.
No, but that was definitely my concern when I was walking over to the vehicle and I was trying to dial 911 with my phone. I was thinking, like, what are you doing? Why are you walking over here? You have a family. What are you doing? I just kept walking. Is this thing going to blow up? I had no idea, but it just, to me, it was the right thing to do. I know somebody needed help, and so that's why I just kept going, I guess.
It's interesting how the brain works at that point. You have the analytical part of you going, what are you doing, dude? You got your wife, your kid, you got a lot of things going on here. You can't be walking towards a fire. And the other part of you is walking towards the fire while you're having this conversation.
Yeah, pretty much talking to myself and like, what are you doing? This is crazy. And I was terrified. I was scared because I did not know. I don't know if the car was going to explode. I didn't know exactly how bad the fire was, how many people were in there. There's just so many unknowns walking up to it. So I think it was very lucky that it was probably just one driver, and I was able to get him out fairly quickly. And that I came across. It seemed that we got there pretty soon after the accident happened. So it's not something that we got there and it would already engulf the car or anything like that. So I think that was fairly lucky that we came across it as soon as it happened, it seemed like.
So what's it feel like when they start tossing around the term hero and you start getting phone calls from Carnegie and the newspapers and they're calling you a hero?
That's a very tough pill to swallow for me.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I view what I did is the right thing to do, and I don't think I should be elevated to any other status of hero. You see a lot of these other recipients who have lost their lives or something like that. I mean, to me, that's epitome. And you have the EMTs and the police department and the fire department who do that every single day. So yeah, it's been very, very humbling, so to speak. But yeah, it's very hard for me to take that term.
Well, Noah, I don't think there's ever been a hero that once they've had that moment and then somebody comes and goes, hey, man, you're a hero. I think most heroes are probably like you, where they go, no, man, that's something anybody would have done in that moment. I doubt there'd be somebody go, damn right, I'm a hero. Don't you ever forget it. I'm a hero. I think once you go through that, it automatically humbles you, and then everybody else gets the right to, call you a hero on that. I was being kind of a jerk this morning, and I've been kind of a jerk my entire career when it comes to this stuff, because I say that you're not a hero unless you are putting your life in danger to help somebody else. Like, I don't know if you were listening right before we went to you, but we were talking about like a kid, dials 911 because his grandfather's having a heart attack. Yeah, the grandfather's going to say, you're my hero. I get it. That's cool. But for public discourse, that's not heroic. just because you save somebody's life doesn't make you a hero. You have to save somebody's life by putting your life in danger. And then to me, that's when you get elevated to hero status. And you're definitely, in that category.
Well, yeah, I guess you could, if you look at it like that way and define it that way, possibly. But I don't know. It's still difficult, absolutely, just to kind of take that and getting outreach from people. I had the head basketball coach from Georgia Tech send me a handwritten letter yesterday, just kind of saying his thank you and appreciate it, and he was proud of me. So a lot of that's very, very cool, but it's still very, very tough, and that's one of the criteria for the Carnegie Fund is that you actually have to put your life on the line for somebody else. So that's part of their criteria when they look at it. I mean, they have others as well, but that is one of them. I don't think they would just look at it as if you weren't in any danger and save somebody. I don't think that would meet the criteria.
And I'm also with you, Noah, when it comes to first responders and stuff like that, because a lot of people say, well, that's not heroism. They're getting paid to do that. That's their job. No, to go out there every day knowing that at any moment you could be called to put your life on the line for someone you don't even know.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool that it was the Lynn Haven Fire Department, I think, responded, and we were sitting there and we were watching the fire, and those guys just walked right up to the vehicle, and this was at the point where it was fully engulfed, and they walked. There were like 5-6 feet of it. I'm like, oh, you guys are nuts. And so, yeah, I mean, those guys, and I have friends who are police officers, EMTs, and they do that every single day. And to me, that's the epitome of a hero. And yeah, you could say they get paid for it, but we all know they don't get paid as much as they need to be. So yeah, they do that every single day, and I have a whole new respect after that experience for what they do, because they do that every single day. They see their families, they say goodbye, not knowing if they'll be back that day. So that's my hats go off to them. I have a lot of respect for a lot of our first responders. And
Noah, you're a former student athlete there at Florida Tech, playing for them from '96 to '99. What are you doing these days?
Right now, I'm a financial advisor with Raymond James. I work on a team with my father and Tom King and Amanda Jowers, Truth Path Financial. So that's what we do currently, and it's been a great experience working along with my dad. He is something else. He's got over 40 years experience. So I've gotten to learn a lot from him, and our new business partner Amanda. She brings a whole new element. So right now, we're just working with families, small business owners and individuals, just helping them grow their wealth and help them retire.
All right. Well, let me get some financial advice then before I get you off. I have $0. How do I grow that $0 into something I can retire on?
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be tough growing $0. You can start with $1. We can work on that. But $0 is going to be tough.
I think that's what I do have. I think I have literally $1 in my wallet. Noah King.
You can work with $1. You can grow that $1.
All right. Noah King, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good morning.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Very cool. And again, it is one of those things where you would hope that in that kind of a situation that you would be moved to do the same thing. I think it would be incredibly difficult to sit there in that kind of a situation and not do something.
You don't know. You don't know until you're in that moment. I know the one time that I found myself in a similar situation. There was a car accident right next to me and engulfed in flames immediately. I know I jumped out of my car and ran towards the flames, but within a matter of seconds, I stopped because there was nothing that anybody was going to be able to do. When I say engulfed in flames that were 15, 20 feet high, as well, if not higher. One of those kind of situations. But yeah, and I remember after 9/11, people were tossing around the hero term a lot.
Sure.
And they were talking about, and you hear a lot of discussions about 9/11, really, shows the true measure of a person, those people that were running into the building versus running out of the building. And I don't know. I don't know that those kinds of moments, those kinds of tragedies show the true measure of a person, because I'm with Noah on this, and every other hero that you talk to or that, is interviewed, they'll say anybody in my position would have done the same thing. I think a better test of somebody's true grit is when they have everything. is when their back is not up against the wall. I think when your back is up against the wall like that, you know, it doesn't. I guess it can bring out the best or the worst in people. But I think you give somebody everything, you make sure that they feel secure, and not only that, but maybe even feel a little powerful because they've got a lot. Then you find a true measure of a person. Yeah. Once somebody has everything and everything going for them, I think you find a little bit more out about a person than you do in times of crisis.
Well, and look, nothing against people who run away in those kind of situations, because again, I think that's our natural instinct is for self-preservation, and so that's what makes what he did that much more extraordinary. You would think, but think about how Noah was describing that moment that he was leaving his wife and walking towards the car that's on fire. Because you'd think that, like you said, that the instinct would be, I'm not fire, I'm not, and I've got a wife, I can't, I got a family, I can't do this. But his instinct, as he was having this conversation with himself, was just to keep walking towards that fire. He doesn't know at any moment that thing could blow up. It could change his life forever. Sure. Yet he keeps walking towards the flames. That is pretty amazing. It is the Wake.Show. Happy holidays, everybody. I know we're trapped in that awkward little space between Christmas and New Year's. It's not really. Normally, this is one of my favorite times a year, because it's a year that you would normally be off and just decompressing. Instead, we are here compressing. The decompressing will come, I don't know, another year or two or three. We'll decompress, but right now we are definitely compressing around here. And thank you so much for being a part of the Wake.Show this morning. And I also want to make, one thing that I definitely want to do, because Jonny Torres, you only have so many more days with us. Yep. Next week, and that's it. I know. You're a jerk. Well, what we might do, which I thought might be fun, is maybe a little role reversal, because, you got to get familiar with the controls back here. And maybe we do a little role reversal, so that way we could see how you fly the ship. Well, that's exactly what I was thinking too. There we go. Yesterday I started my training. Yeah. I feel like Ray. I feel like Ray, and Jonny is Luke Skywalker. Started my training yesterday, and all the stuff that he does over there, and there's a lot of stuff. So this will be very interesting, but I think you're right. I think it'll be good in the next week. And that way, if your last week here, I mean, maybe we'll start out. Maybe your last day. Well, it'll be a short week anyways, which is true. And then Cords will be on vacation, so he doesn't have to panic about whether or not the show's going to go smoothly, because he'll be out all next week, and so he'll be watching. We'll have some room for bumps and bruises, and and any other issues that might arise. That'll be fun, and as I guess we're going to be looking to, because there's a part of me that now that Jonny's leaving, I think I told you guys this yesterday, there's a part of me that goes, well, instead of going through the whole process of bringing somebody else in, man, just teach me everything. I'll just handle everything, and we'll figure it out from there. Yeah. And like I said, I know that I could execute the functions of that kind of a show, but I don't know that it'll be the best kind of show. Yeah, I mean, we know, and I don't think people truly have an understanding of how difficult it is to do a show by yourself. When you look at these guys, regardless of what you think of them, right? But when you look at these guys that have had successful careers in radio, and some of them, have moved on to TV as well. But when you look at your Sean Hannity's, your Rush Limbaugh's, your Howard Stern's, well, Howard Stern's got like half a dozen people he bounces stuff off of. But when you look at these guys who do the solo shows and make compelling radio, I mean, that's an incredibly talented individual behind that microphone. And even you take those big names like you were talking, or not the conservative talk shows, because you will find definitely a lot more of your just one-person shows in that genre. But Howard Stern, Howard Stern is famous as Howard Stern, but that show has always been an ensemble. Yeah. He's always had multiple people around him that he's playing off of. Well, look, and some, in being critical of the current state of radio, we talk about a lot of these morning shows that get syndicated around the country and all that because it's really a measure for radio stations to save money. And a perfect example is a show that, nothing against, the show itself. I have two former coworkers who work on this particular show. It's Elvis Duran in the Morning Zoo. If that's,
he's been around forever,
right? Been around forever. Incredibly talented host that Elvis is. But as someone said to me one time, if you have 8 people in a room, somebody is bound to say something funny or interesting.
Right.
And so it doesn't make it that difficult of a lift to carry a show like that.
The shows that something that would bother me about some of those shows with the big ensembles is they'd always have somebody in the background that was constantly laughing.
Oh.
And it would annoy the
like that.
But you know what I mean? Like, someone says the weather, like partly cloudy today with a high of 71.
Right.
In the background, like, who is that jackass? Or is it even a person? They just keep hitting a button.
It's a producer or an intern or somebody like that.
Yeah. We do have some positive news before we get out of here today.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. The Chicago murder rate declined this year.
Oh, hey. Good for them.
It's still alarmingly high.
Merry Christmas.
But after years away, Anthony Davis returned home to Chicago last year to take care of his elderly father. The predominantly African-American neighborhood on the city's south side is where the 51-year-old Davis grew up. It was unrecognizable. Abandoned homes dot the landscape, blah-diddy-blah-diddy-blah. But the total number of shooting incidents were down 21%.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. As of mid-December, there had been 635 murders in Chicago, a 15% drop from the previous year. 635 murders in one city.
Well, I mean, hell, we were, again, being from Miami, I'm a big fan of the Miami Heat, and Dwayne Wade at the time, I believe, was still on the team when, he lost, I think it was a cousin of his, in a completely random drive-by shooting, in the middle of the day.
Yeah. As of mid-December, and from what I understand, it's just 5 neighborhoods. It's not all of Chicago. When I was in Chicago,
I always wondered that because I've had a lot of friends over the past year or two that have been in Chicago. Tourism-wise, has been very hot, and I always wondered. I'm like, where are these people going that they're not feeling in danger over all this crime you constantly hear about?
Well, I was sitting there on top of the the John Hancock building, which is a great vantage point there in Chicago, a touristy thing to do, having a drink, and was posting, from there on Facebook. And the comments,
somebody's get shot?
No.
Oh.
And the comments coming back were all jokes, either, hey, be safe, or jokes about being safe or getting shot or something like that. But it is not Chicago. Where if you're going to go to Chicago to be a tourist, you're not going to one of these neighborhoods. You're not going to be anywhere near one of these neighborhoods.
Okay.
That have these issues. I guess it's 5 neighborhoods in the south side that they can't control, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Right.
It just doesn't. Here in America, and I know that our current president said while he was campaigning, hey, straighten up your act, or I'm sitting in the feds. I'll sit in the feds, or right after he got elected, or something like that.
Yeah.
And you would think that we could do something, and that we can't bothers me, because we're sitting here around the world trying to change countries, trying to clean up countries and different hotspots around the world. Yet we can't even turn our resources onto our own country, 5 little neighborhoods, and figure out how to, I don't know, just solve that issue, solve that problem. But yeah, so one night in Chicago, this is when I proposed to my wife 2 years ago, we get lost on the streets of Chicago.
Fun.
Right? It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's on the streets. We don't know where the hell we are.
GPS, sounds like the beginning of a Liam Neeson movie.
GPS isn't working that well because of all the tall buildings, and it's constantly, just changing on you, and you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And so Chicago's built. I'm not from the north or big cities or anything like that, but somehow we ended up like in it's an alleyway that we couldn't get out of. You're between buildings, behind stuff where it's all, dumpsters and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this long ass out, and we're trying to figure, how do you get back up to the street? We couldn't even figure, and then we're in this alley just walking with nobody around. Dumpster.
Oh, you're walking, not driving.
Right, walking.
Oh, boy.
Dumpster after dumpster after dumpster. I'm going, oh my God. And I just proposed, so she has this huge ring, shiny rock on her finger. And I'm like, oh, this is it. We're going to end up becoming a statistic here shortly.
Well, luckily you weren't Bruce Wayne. I mean, if not that,
True. Luckily. And outside of that, because I'd like to give some love to Chicago right now. The nicest effing people. Why'd you have to throw effing in there, Fisherman? Could you just say the nicest people? I don't know why. But I couldn't believe it. Like I said, we're trying to use GPS. We're walking places and go, damn it. We can't get anything. And then all of a sudden, just randomly, a person would go, can I help you? On the streets of Chicago during the day. And it looks like you guys are lost. Can I help you? He's like, yeah, we're just trying to find whatever. Oh, yeah, just head down that way, make a left, you'll find it.
And give me all your money.
Yeah, no, it was nothing like that. People were very helpful, very friendly in the Windy City there. So good luck in bringing the shootings down.
Well, like I said, I've had a lot of friends who've been going to Chicago, and they love it. They always have a great time. I have friends that go there repeatedly, and the pictures look amazing. But in my mind, I always have that perception because you hear so much about it on the news, that it's a crime-ridden city. It's like when somebody says something nice about Detroit, like it just doesn't compute in my head.
As of mid-December, 635 murders in Chicago, a 15% drop from last year. Total number of shootings down 21% to 2,719 reported shootings. 2,719 reported shootings. Still, murders remain at levels unseen since the 90s, when the crack cocaine epidemic ravaged communities across the United States and fueled a spike in crime. So, congratulations, Chicago. Your numbers are down. Keep working on it.
And this story brought to you by Chicago Pizza, because if the heart disease won't get you, the gang sure will.
And my favorite story of the day is a story about glass that repairs itself.
Nice. Why, you break your phone a lot?
I don't want to jinx anything, but my phone's fine right now. A Japanese researcher has developed a new type of glass that can be repaired by simply pressing it back together after it cracks. But the reason that first of all, I love the age that we live in. If you can ever, get quiet, do a little breathing, and remove yourself, kind of float above the earth and just watch things for a little bit. Yeah. And then think about how the future, people that will be studying us 1,000 years ago from now, 10,000 years from now, 1,000,000 years from now. We live in such an incredible period for the development of who we are. And every day or every week, there's just some other neat little story of a discovery or an invention, and it's cool. But the reason I like this story so much isn't because it's just another story about how you can break glass and just press it back together now. We've got magical technology, but like so many other discoveries, this happened by accident. The discovery opens the way for super durable glass that could triple the lifespan of everyday products like car windows, construction materials, fish tanks, and even toilet seats. This guy, a chemistry researcher, made the breakthrough by chance while investigating adhesives that can be used on wet surfaces. Now, does this mean you'll soon be able to repair those cracks in your smartphone with a quick press of your fingers? Or surreptitiously piece together a shattered beer glass dropped after 1 pint too many? Not quite. Not now, though. And in fact, not in the near future either. But it does open a window for opportunity for researchers to explore ways to make more durable, lightweight glass-like items. So, in the lab, this guy broke a glass sample into two pieces. He then held the cross-section of the two pieces together for 30 seconds, and the glass repaired itself.
Wow.
To demonstrate the strength, he then hung a nearly full bottle of water from the piece of glass. It stayed intact. The organic glass made of a substance called polyether thioureous is closer to an acrylic than mineral glass, which is used for table. All right, well then, it's not glass. You bait and switched me here. It's not glass. It's an acrylic. The secret lies in the urethra. Wait, the thiourea. It's the dyslexia now.
Whoa, what?
I think this word is urethra backwards.
If you have glass in your urethra, I mean, you got much bigger problems.
Which uses hydrogen bonding to make the edge of the shattered glass self-adhesive. But what use is all this if it cannot produce a self-healing smartphone screen? Quote, it's not realistically about fixing what is broken, more about making longer-lasting resin glass, he said. And there you go. All right, maybe it wasn't the greatest story of the day.
That would be huge in the mobile industry and with all our digital devices, because they all do have that touch sensitive glass, and if it could be repaired more easily or made more durable, I think it would significantly help the longevity and the value of those products.
I want to say they already have a similar technology, not if it breaks, but if you get it cut just a little.
Where it like fills it in.
Yeah, like you can either like use your hand and go like that, your fingers and kind of go like that, and
really?
I don't know. Let me retract.
That sounds like exactly what you just read.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't trust anything I say on a Thursday morning after
That's right. How was Park and Rec?
Packed. It was
damn it,
a great crowd.
All right, so I was totally set on going last night to Park and Rec. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to catch Star Wars, and then after Star Wars, I was going to go out to Park and Rec.
You saw Star Wars,
but I did see Star Wars last night.
Did you take your little one?
No, she's too young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, two.
She won't sit through a movie even at home yet. So.
All right.
Yeah, she's not movie ready yet.
So what did you think?
No, look, I thought Star Wars was fantastic. I loved it. We talked a little bit off air. Some of the jokes were, I think, unnecessary. They kind of took a little bit away from the movie. But overall, I thought it was a great movie. Was it better than the originals? No. In fact, I thought The Force Awakens was better.
I have to go back and watch that because you're not the first person to say that.
But I think Rian Johnson did a great job. I mean, I think I'd pull back on the comedy a little bit, but overall, I think it was a great Star Wars movie.
We're not going to spoil anything here. We're not going to spoil anything here. But yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. In the very beginning, I want to say it's the opening scene of the movie.
Right.
The opening scene of the movie, there's a lot of a comedy there. And it feels weird because, your opening scene setting the tone for the movie.
Right.
And so I will say right there in the beginning, like Roy will give his 3-face review. In the beginning of the movie, I was like, the middle? And at the end? Yeah, at the beginning of the movie, I was like,
where is Roy? We wanted him to come up here. He went and saw Jumanji, and maybe we'll just have him on a little longer on tomorrow. But the holiday kind of all threw him off, and that's why he didn't join us last week.
But I love the movie. I do want to go back now and watch Force Awakens, and then go back to before Star Wars is out of the theater. Go back and then do one of the 3D one.
And look, Rogue One is great too. Rogue One is fantastic.
Holy crap, dude! How well do you know? Right, Cords, the owner of Bake More Pies here. He had his son at work yesterday.
Riley, yeah.
Riley, how well do you know? Have you got conversations?
Pretty
with
well, yeah. He's a great kid.
Oh my God, he's so smart.
Oh yeah.
11 years old, and yesterday we're sitting there having a conversation. I feel like I'm having a conversation with a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about Rogue One, and he goes, because he saw Jedi and he liked it. Said that he liked Force Awakens better, but then he goes, I hated Rogue One. He goes, and then he goes like this, I hated it with all the passion in my heart. I'm like 11 years old. How can you hate a Star Wars movie with all the passion of your heart?
Think about it. A movie at 11 years old is a pretty big deal. There's not a lot of things you care about more than watching a movie like Star Wars at 11 years old. Like, that is your world. Like, his job at 11 is to care about Star Wars.
But what was great, too, was how then he dissected. He didn't just throw that out there, I hated it, and left it there. Oh, he then broke it down. He goes, first, it doesn't start off with a scroll like all the other movies do. This is a one-off. And he goes, it doesn't start off with a scroll. I hated that. And he goes, and
I thought that was a bit weird first, but again, I think the intent behind that is to let people realize that this is not part of the sequence. This is not part of the, I forget the technical term for it, but it's not part of any of the trilogies.
Did we talk about how George Lucas got fined for that and got kicked out of the Directors Guild or resigned over it or something like that?
Because of the scroll?
Yes. Because SAG dictates how credits are supposed to run in a film. And so in the beginning of the film, you're supposed to give credit to the director, the executive producer, and whatever, however that works. And
the movie just starts.
Right. And George Lucas felt that would ruin the experience.
Yeah.
And so he had to pay a fine for the way that he started that film. And do you know how much that was back in 1977?
Oh, you're talking about the originals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd say $50,000.
$250,000.
Wow.
$1,000.
Which is probably be a couple mil today. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of money in 1977. Sure, $250,000, and then either got kicked out of or resigned his post in the Directors Guild just because of that as well. But anyway, so he goes and breaks it down and says the characters in Rogue One, he goes, I couldn't get into one of them. Not one of them, I felt anything for. He goes, the only emotion that and this is I'm sitting here talking to this 11-year-old. He goes, the only emotion that I felt during the movie is when the robot died. This is the only character I got into I cared about.
And that's when the robots took over.
Is when the robot died. So, all right, man. Well, before we get out of here, let's, what do you want to sing? You feel like singing something today?
Let's do some Hootie.
Hootie.
My ex hates Hootie, and so it was one of those things where I always loved singing it even more. Not despite her, because but I always got a kick out of the fact that how much she hated it.
Do you know he considers what song is it? Let Her Cry?
Yeah, that's a Hootie song. Yeah,
is it Let Her Cry? One of those that he did back in the '90s is Hootie.
Darius Rucker.
He considers his first, because he's a country artist now.
Oh, okay.
But he considers his first country song, I think it's Let Her Cry.
I could see that as a country song, yeah.
What would you like to do? Hold My Hand, Only Want to Be With You, Let Her Cry, Time, Tucker's Town.
Let's do Time, because you said you didn't have I Go Blind, right?
I do not. I need to figure out how to download this stuff so when people ask, at Park and Rec, I have all my songs on a drive.
Yeah.
And I got to figure out how, when people just ask me, I can just pull it, download it for $1 or whatever you have to pay for karaoke songs.
Because that was a pretty big song, right? I Go Blind was a big song.
How did that one go?
Every time I look at you, I go blind. No? Not ringing a bell?
Maybe I wasn't a big Hootie fan.
Damn.
Only the radio hits.
I got to meet Mr. Darius Rucker.
Did you?
During his Hootie days. I worked at Dolphin Stadium. Where the
Dolphins made him cry?
Yeah, where the Dolphins made him cry, yeah, and he sang the national anthem at that particular game, and I was working there during my days in high school, and I got to meet him in the tunnels.
He seems like he'd be a nice guy. Please tell me.
Super nice guy.
All right, good.
And got him and then a few of the band members to sign a thing for me, which I still have.
All right, sir. Well, I have time. Oh, I don't.
You don't have time?
I don't have time.
We have all the time in the world.
It tricks me. I don't know why. It fakes me out every now and again because
you're missing the file, maybe?
It says file not found, so I don't know.
What was the other one?
Hold My Hand, Let Her Cry.
Yeah, let's do Hold My Hand.
Okay. You better have it. You better. There we go.
Let Her Cry is a little too slow to kick off people's mornings.
All right, here we go.
Oh, you're going to have to blow the lyrics up because I can't.
Oh. Go.
With a little love and some tenderness, we'll walk upon the water, we'll rise above the mess with a little peace and some harmony. We'll tame the world together, we'll take them by the hand, 'cause I got him on you. 'Cause I wanna run with you. Yesterday, I saw her standing there. Your hand was out, your eyes were red. No come and touch your hair. I said, get up and let me see you smile. We'll take a walk together. We'll tell
Wild dogs, I got a hand for you.
'Cause I wanna run with you.
Won't you let me run with you? Yeah.
I want you to hold my hand.
Hold my hand.
I'll take you to a place where you
Hold
can be
my hand.
anything you wanna be. 'Cause I wanna love you the best that I can.
Well done. Well done, Mr.
A
Torres.
little rough, a few bumps.
Yeah, there. You got through it eventually. We'll have to do that every day before, because we only have another
What we got to do
5
is
shows.
The people who watch us every day. Hello. The people who watch us every day need to make suggestions. They need to send us a little request.
All right.
And we'll see. We'll have to. Maybe we make it a rule where we can only sing out of the choices that are given to us.
Okay. By we, you mean you. I'll come in with some backup vocals if you need it. But thank you so much for being a part of the Wake.Show today. Now available on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Periscope. And if you want the audio version only to save data if you're listening in your car on the way to work in the morning, go ahead and download the Mixlr app, or download the Mixlr app, Mixlr, or you can go right to the website and listen to the show every single day as well. All right, sir. Any business before we get out of here?
No, man. Well, you're doing your another trivia night tonight,
That's
right?
right. Yeah. Masteries, join me out at Blind Pass, St. Pete Beach, or send the relatives that are annoying you that are still in town, that are lingering. Most relatives are headed back.
Yeah.
You always got that that one relative who is overstaying their welcome. Send them out to Masteries.
Uncle Eddie.
Yeah. Send them out to Masteries tonight at Blind Pass. This is the new Masteries brew pub or brewery, not the one that's in downtown, but the one that's out at the beach at Blind Pass, 7 o'clock, 7 to 8:30 tonight. Masteries for Trivia Night. Have a great day. Love you, and we'll do it again tomorrow.